Look at a field of wheat during harvest. To turn those golden stalks into this sealed pack of biscuits in your pantry, the crop must pass through a series of specialized industrial stages. That wheat is extracted directly from nature, which defines the harvest as a primary sector activity. But very few human needs are met by consuming raw resources exactly as they are pulled from the earth. This is the role of the secondary sector, the stage of the economy where raw natural resources are transformed into finished, usable goods. Inside a manufacturing plant, raw wheat is milled into flour, mixed with ingredients, and baked into thousands of identical biscuits. The raw material has been physically altered. This occurs across every industry. Mills spin raw cotton into clothing, factories stamp mined steel into cars, and crews turn cement and sand into the schools where we study. By taking raw elements and upgrading them into everything from our food and vehicles to the buildings we live in, the secondary sector produces the entire physical infrastructure of a nation. But manufacturing creates an immediate bottleneck. Even with millions of boxes of biscuits on a factory floor, they hold no practical value until they reach the people who want to eat them. The connection between the factory gate and the consumer is made by the tertiary sector, commonly known as the service sector. The most visible layer of this sector involves logistics and trade. Trucks and trains move the goods across the country, delivering them to the supermarkets and local shops where they can be purchased. The people driving those trucks and managing those shops are not extracting resources or building physical products. They are providing a service that allows the economy to function. Without this distribution network, the entire supply chain breaks. A factory can run at maximum capacity, but its output remains useless if it cannot reach the public. Services are integrated into every stage of the supply chain, often long before a product is finished. Factories rely on professional networks to stay operational. They use banks for financing, hire engineers for design, and employ accountants for payroll. In recent decades, this sector has expanded to include complex digital technology and artificial intelligence. This includes algorithms optimizing routes, medical AI assisting with diagnoses, and e-learning platforms educating global students. The tertiary sector provides the funding, knowledge, and logistics that allow the primary and secondary sectors to operate. We can track how these sectors rely on one another by looking at the tea industry. It begins in the primary sector, with workers harvesting raw leaves in a tea garden. Those leaves are sent to the secondary sector, where factory machinery dries, processes, and packages the raw plant matter into a consumer product. Finally, the tertiary sector takes over. Transport networks move the tea to retail shops, where it is sold to consumers. If transportation stops, the entire industry suffers a backlog. The factory cannot ship its inventory, which forces it to stop buying raw leaves, eventually leaving the farmers with crops they cannot sell. When a consumer buys tea at a shop, the money flows in reverse. It funds the factory, which in turn pays the farmers, providing the capital needed for the next harvest. These stages form a circular ecosystem. The failure or success of one sector directly determines the outcome for the others. This graph reveals a major disparity in the economy. While the primary sector employs the largest number of people in India, the tertiary sector generates the vast majority of the nation's total wealth, or GDP. Even though millions of people work in agriculture, services like software development and finance generate much higher concentrated monetary value per worker. While every sector is necessary for stability, the growth of the tertiary sector provides the high-value expertise and infrastructure that expands a modern economy.